Welcome to the phenyxlounge, where we're building a community centered around fitness, wellness, and mindset. We're curating a list of teachers, experts, and influencers to share their pro tips for staying healthy and learning how to rise again in all aspects of life. If you hear any gems, be sure to hashtag Phēnyx Athletica and tag us on Twitter and Instagram. I'm your host, Money Madu, and I'm excited to bring you guys episode 3 of the phenyxlounge with Amobi. Amobi is a professional soccer player and entrepreneur. His company, A Frugal Athlete, is an online media platform that promotes prudent financial practices and smart career decisions amongst professional athletes and student athletes. The mission is to help athletes learn financial principles and expose them to positive examples of fellow athletes that are being smart with their money. So with no further ado, once again, like I said, I appreciate you, Amobi, for coming on. I think this is going to be a great episode, just with all the stuff that you're doing. We've been following each other on, various social medias here for, a few months now, at least at the minimum. So it's nice to kind of get you on and share this experience with everybody.
Nah, man, thanks for having me. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. We've been following each other from afar, admiring the work that you do and the work that I do. So it's cool to get connected and be on your platform.
Absolutely. All right. So, as far as the background, can you explain a little bit about how you might have grown up and, just explain how you got into where you're at now?
Yeah, so quick background. I don't want to take too long, but first generation Nigerian American, born and raised in California, grew up playing soccer and basketball until soccer kind of took over. I was fortunate enough to, move to Florida in high school to join the residency program. Essentially, it's boarding school for like the top 40 kids in high school to compete for the under 17 national team. So from there, did that for 2 years, came back to finish my senior year back in Sacramento. After that, went to UCLA. Fortunately, we had a good season, and I was able to get drafted after my freshman year. So I got drafted in 2010, first round to Philadelphia. Spent 5 years there, bounced around a little bit between Orlando and Kansas City. Spent 2 years in Portland, and then I was a free agent for a year. And then the last 2 years I've been in Austin, and Austin's in the second division. So it's been a crazy journey, but, I've been grateful for the opportunity that soccer and sports has given me.
Awesome. Yeah, it's crazy because like you, I'm a first generation Nigerian American, and I know as far as like parents is a little bit different from where people are, from your experience. I'm sure yours may have been a little bit, but as far as like coming from a different country, they might be a little bit more strict just because how things were back in the homeland is a lot different from how things
Facts.
are. So with that, you have mentioned that you got drafted your freshman year of college. How does that work as far as like, do you still go to school, or is it one of those things that you just start playing and then you kind of funnel back, like in the off season, you're going back to school?
Yeah, so it's funny you talk about Nigerian parents. So me trying to convince them to leave after my freshman year was it was like pulling teeth. But fortunately, the contract I signed, it was a Generation Adidas contract, so they reimburse you up to 10 years for school. So the plan is, in your off season, you go back to school. But the way UCLA was set up, because I left so quickly, it wouldn't have made sense. So I was playing professional soccer and then just doing online classes through. I went to the local community college in Philadelphia. From there, transferred it to a 4-year University of Louisville. So I ended up getting my bachelor's from University of Louisville while playing, and then I just finished my master's in sports law through Arizona State University, all online as well. So that was a promise I made to my Nigerian parents. So they're happy. They can put it on the wall, whatever they want to do with it, and then I'm good. So I get to play soccer. So
right. So as far as like soccer goes, are you in a sense toward the end of your career, or is it something where you think you have a few weeks, or not a few weeks, but a few more years left, and you're transition into either what you've been doing entrepreneurial wise as far as like the frugal athlete and maybe other ventures?
Yes, that's a great question. I want to say, like, a quote my dad always says, like, like once you start your career, you're closer to the end of it than the beginning.
Right.
So you always have to have that mindset. But, realistically, I'm 29 now. So, if I can get another 4 or 5 years, that would be ideal. I don't see that happening because I have so many passions outside of soccer that I want to pursue. So yeah, I'm in that transition phase, trying to plant seeds where, I think I can, excel in the next life.
Gotcha. And so with that, I'm sure there've been a lot of ups and downs, being a professional,
Yeah.
soccer athlete. Can you explain, maybe there's any stories that, maybe possibly injuries or, demotions or, something of the sort where, you might have had something that was an obstacle that you had to overcome?
Yeah, and I think this, I have, like you said, a professional athlete's career, everyone sees the up, but there's so many ups and downs, whether it's injury, demotion, loss of form, whatever it may be. But one story that sticks out that kind of, you know, goes with the mission that you promote with Phēnyx is, so after my 5 years in Philly, I did well. I signed a new contract. You always want to get that second contract because so I got the second contract. I'm good. So I signed with Orlando, new team, a lot of exposure. Within 6 months, I was traded to Kansas City. So that's already like, he's on a high. Now let's come back. So within 6 months, I get traded to Kansas City. It was like a shock. No one really kind of expected it. And then, so all right, you got to adjust. So within 2 months of Kansas City, I get injured. I get like a slight tear in my meniscus, and I'm out for like 4 months of the season. So after that, it was just like, being at such a high, like going into like new contract, new season, new team, like you're supposed to be like one of the top guys to getting traded and then getting injured. It was all bad. And then after I got injured, because of my contract within the salary budget, Kansas City was trying to play hardball. So I go into the next preseason and they're trying to, play games, trying to figure out ways to try to make me take a pay cut with and I'm Nigerian. It's not gonna happen. So
Exactly. We know our worth.
so so trying to figure like that, navigate that while staying mentally sharp, while staying fit, because you never know what another opportunity is going to happen. That was really tough. So while Kansas City was playing hardball, my agent set up a couple trials with another team, two other teams, DC United. I was there for a week, didn't work out. I went to New York. I was there a week. They were like, well, yeah, we like you. We want you to stay another week. Stay there 2 weeks. By the end of 2 weeks, you're supposed to know, like,
Right.
They made me stay another week. 3 weeks, 4 weeks happened. I was there a whole month, and they were like, we like you, but we don't love you. So, but, being able to stay mentally sharp allowed me to be immediately ready for when Portland called, and I didn't have to do any trial. They just signed me right away. And that's like my story.
So as far as you said, the first team was in Orlando?
Yeah, so my first team that I got drafted to was Philadelphia, and then the second
Okay.
team where I signed like my new contract was with Orlando.
Orlando. Okay, and so Orlando, when they traded you, was it something that they kind of told you, or was they were just like, all right, you're going to Kansas City, and you're just like maybe chilling on the beach, and you look on Twitter.
Nah, it's crazy because the week it happened, my whole family came. Oh, did I freeze? Hello?
Yeah.
Yo, so I think I'm still talking.
Yeah, you're still.
But he froze. Hello?
You good?
Okay. Yo, so the week that it happened, my whole family was in town. So my parents, my 3 siblings, my girlfriend. So we was chilling, like we was just taking advantage of the free time. I show up to practice one day. The GM's like, yo, can you come to my office before practice? I was like, okay, whatever. You probably want to talk about some nonsense about like last game. He was like, yo, we're trading you to Kansas City. They made an offer. And I was like, okay. And you can't do anything. Once you traded, they want to talk like, we really liked you. Like, I don't want to hear that. The trades happen. Let's make it happen. So I come back to the house. Whole family's there. And I told my dad first, I'm like, yo, Dad, I just got traded to Kansas City. He's like, what? And then my mom, everyone's like, it was bad. So it was an adjustment, but that's life, when you're a soccer player or a professional athlete, you expect it.
Yeah, so with that, is there any advice that you could give to, anyone that might be in that realm of possibly about to become like a soccer player, or just in general, just maybe there might be going into college, or getting that scholarship and trying to make the team?
Yeah, I think the one piece of advice I would say is stay the course, because there's only so much you can control. So stay the course. If you know what you provide on the field, or like what skill sets that you provide, make sure that you stay your course, stay consistent in developing those skills, and working as hard as you can. And whatever happens outside of that, don't worry about it. Just stay tunnel vision, because there's going to be coaches that like you. There's going to be coaches that don't like you. There's going to be teams that appreciate your talents. There's going to be teams that don't. So understanding that, if as long as you bring it every day and know what you're good at, stay in your lane, something good's going to happen at some point.
Absolutely. Yeah. I guess it can kind of translate into, take it for example, everybody's watching the last dance now. Like Dennis Rodman knew his role.
Exactly.
He didn't score, but he made sure he got every rebound, made sure he was a pest. So yeah, that's definitely good advice as far as like making sure that if you're good at something, play your role right. There's always a piece. There's always a spot
Yeah.
for people that understand their role. So
Facts.
that's awesome. That's awesome. So as far as like an athlete goes, what's a common misconception that people might have of
Oh.
professional soccer players?
So professional soccer players, especially in the States, is a little bit different, because like in other, countries, Europe, South America, where it's getting a lot more exposure, it's a little bit different. But I would say, we're just regular guys, like, for the most part. We're not on a pedestal. I would say some people think, we're jocks, but I feel like, you're starting to see more athletes at least be curious about other things. And I think it's a great thing to see that people are like trying to express themselves outside of just playing sports. Um, yeah, but it's like when people come up to you like, "Oh my gosh, how's it feel?" It's like same thing. You work out every day too, so we're all the same people.
What do you think about I don't know if it's converting over to the soccer as well, but NCAA saying that students can finally, almost in a sense, profit off of their name?
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I would have stayed at UCLA longer if I could have got
Right.
paid. But it's important that the student athletes like look at the information, because there's still some limitations to the rules about getting paid.
Mhm.
But it's a great opportunity for athletes at that level to take advantage of their brand, take advantage of their network. Being a student athlete on a campus that like is into sports, that goes a long way. So whether it's not, even if it's not making money from the stump, or like from the jump,
Mhm.
being able to develop those relationships, develop those skills, and understanding like sales, marketing, negotiating, all these different tactics that you're going to have to apply later in life, anyways, is really important.
Gotcha. And so before we transition into the entrepreneurial route, what was the height so far of your professional soccer career?
So, um, probably the first game. Like the first game we played in Seattle away. It was like 60,000 people there. I didn't start, but like to have my parents there, the first game, I came off the bench like the last 20 minutes. We were already losing, but I didn't really care.
Yeah.
Um, just because it was like a testament to the sacrifices they made, driving me to practice 3, 4 times a week, traveling on the road for these tournaments. It was like everything that, all the sacrifices they made for me and my siblings was like, all right, you earned it. So
Right.
that was probably the height.
Right.
Everything else after that is just downhill.
So I want to know about this. So I've been to a few, um, I guess MLS soccer. So the Dynamo, I'm
Yeah.
in Houston right now. So the Dynamo, I've been to a few of their games. Do you experience? Because I know at least overseas is kind of the way. Have you experienced like the where the crowd is almost in a sense more so negative toward people like you versus other people, or?
Um, Not as bad as it has been like overseas.
Mhm.
But there's some fans that like they'll like read a bit about your bio and try to say
Right.
some stuff.
Right.
But it's never been a serious situation in that sense.
Gotcha. Gotcha. But yeah, okay. So let's transition to your other ventures. So what made you get started as far as like the frugal athlete? Like what started that?
So, I mean, growing up, I've always been interested in business and finance. And then obviously, into my career, soccer, we don't get compensated as much as, NBA, NFL, MLB, those sports. So I was really just looking for athletes to kind of model what I should do after. And then it kind of culminated when the 30 for 30 Broke documentary came out. And I was like, yo, if these NFL guys that is making this much money, is it happening to them? I was like, I need to buckle down even like tenfold. So after that, I did some more research. What I kept finding were like guys like LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, Tom Brady. I can't compare myself to them like from a compensation standpoint, or athletes that lost it all. And as much as it's cool to learn about like the scare tactics of like what not to do, I wanted to see like examples of like what I could do. So that's kind of how Frugal Athlete started. It's been a blessing ever since to be able to connect with not only athletes, but financial professionals that help athletes, managers that help athletes, monetize, leverage their careers, and take advantage of the capital that they make during that short time period to last for their life.
So it's almost in a sense, it's almost like an agency. So do you have a few athletes kind of under y'all's realm so far?
So the main thing we do is like provide content, and then we do have a couple athletes that we're not giving any like investment advice. We're not telling them what to invest in or anything like that. But we do help with budget strategy, agent due diligence, creating platforms for athletes to monetize. Whether it's affiliate marketing, just overall protecting their brand. Getting the trademark, getting the logo, stuff like that. That simple things that you can do that you don't even think you can make money from. So that's like our bread and butter. We speak in engagements, workshops. We're hoping to develop some courses as well. But we started as content, and then hopefully trying to expand out.
Absolutely. Cool. So with that, is there anything else that you kind of like have a passion for that you're thinking about getting into, either whether it's going to be now, you've already started it now, or like soon as you get closer to the end, you think that you're going to go ahead and pursue?
Yeah, so ultimately, like long-term vision, I want to get into like partnerships, innovative strategy, like investor relations, business development for like a sports fund. I feel like over the next 10 years, you're going to see a lot of, private equity, VC firms invest in sports media, sports tech, sports franchises. So I kind of want to be that linchpin that helps those companies do the due diligence, make the relationships and stuff like that. I do some investing. I've invested in a couple of fintech, a couple of sports companies and stuff like that. But I'm all just about collaboration, connecting. The best thing is when I could be the connector between two people, and then they have like big success or whatever it may be. And then just give me a little cut. I'm good.
Right. A little
That's
percentage.
all it's a little percentage and I'm good. But yeah, that's what I'm all about. So like real talk, ever since I started a Frugal Athlete, that's kind of been a great transition into that space that I want to get into.
Gotcha. So what's one or two things that kind of gets you inspired? So like say, whether you're about to go to practice or, something with you that's going on with the frugal athlete, like what gets you inspired if you might be on a downturn or, just not feeling it?
Shoot, my family, my parents, for them to come, without anything and like survive, not only survive, but thrive as well. It's a blessing to see. So it's like, if they can make it, let me not waste the sacrifices that they made, the opportunity that they provided me and my siblings, to take advantage. That's been a big driver for me. And then another thing is just legacy. I'm really big on manifestation. I'm really big on just like dream worlds for me is like my family. We all live in like the same neighborhood, Sunday dinner, and just legacies. I'm all about that. So those are the two big things for me. And then just inspiration from like my peers and not only people in front of me, but people behind me as well. Just trying to get inspiration from all over, because we can learn so much from just the people around us.
So, as an athlete, I'm sure you're very used to routine. When you're not in season, what does your routine look like?
Man, so we're not in season right now because of COVID. So
Yeah,
it's
right,
been,
right.
the first week of adjusting it was crazy. But yeah, like, and that's why athletes struggle when they're done playing because they get out of routine. So me, I try to wake up early, do my meditation, do my Bible study, do like my yoga, and then from there do my emails, and then get a workout in. I like to get a workout in the morning because I just think it helps you throughout the day.
Mhm.
And then after that, obviously got to eat between those sessions, but then I work on Frugal Athlete and I do some other things and then read a little bit and then decompress, whether it's hanging out with friends. Not now, but
Right, right.
on my,
Under 6 people.
but then it's like get on Netflix or something like that, and then that's a typical day. I try to keep it structured.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's interesting because like I know at least on my end, I'm big on routine, and it's switched because I just honestly just went full time into this entrepreneurship role back
Congrats,
in
man.
November, and so like it went from waking up super early in the morning, and working out at 5 a.m. to like I don't have to wake up as early in the morning. I still do, just kind of like you said, get the
Yeah.
juices flowing early in the morning that kind of pushes you through. But with this COVID stuff, man, it's been interesting because I haven't been working out as much just because I like almost in a sense, I think I just like competition with working out with someone else. Because I
I
was
feel
doing
you.
group circuit training with F45, and that
That's
was
big out in
been
Texas.
right, right.
Uh,
So yeah, that's interesting. So with COVID, has that changed your workout routine, or are you still able to, in a sense, maybe work out at the facility or anything like that?
so I'm actually in Sacramento right now. So
Okay,
during the season, obviously I'm in Austin. So since we're not around the facilities, I came back home. Got to get the Nigerian food, got to
right,
connect
right.
with the family. So in the mornings, me and my brothers just work out. We do a little garage workouts and then go out to the backyard, get some technical, like ball work and stuff like that.
Gotcha, gotcha.
So it's changed in the sense of like we can't get that like that game fitness, but still getting the technical and the resistance work and the body weight work and stuff like that.
And that's awesome. That's awesome. So to you, like I said with Phēnyx, one of the things that I believe that our tagline "Rise Again" is, whatever that happens, no matter the obstacle, whatever it is, everybody goes through downfalls. Like a phoenix, you always have a chance to regenerate and rise again. So the next day is a new day to do um, what you feel is best. Uh, to you, what would rise again mean?
No, I really love that mantra. I think rise again to me means like you fail forward. I think there was a quote that said, I don't know, it was like what was the dude that made the light bulbs, Thomas Edison or whatever.
Yeah,
He's like he did that like 1,000 times, and they're like, "Yo, it took you 1,000 times." He's like, "Yeah, I just found out like 999 ways to not, you know."
absolutely.
So that mindset of failing forward, rising again, and not giving up in your dreams, whatever it may be, is really important.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. That's awesome. Where can the people find you as far as social media or anywhere else?
Now, respect. So you could check out my stuff at Amobisays on Twitter, Instagram, a frugal athlete, Twitter, Instagram, websites www.afrugalathlete.com or www.amobiokugo.com. I respond, so I'm always active on Twitter. So yeah.
And that's awesome. Hey, so with that, I do want to say, at least with the frugal athlete, that's one thing that I think is a great thing that you're doing. A lot of people who are athletes, unfortunately, aren't in a space where they might be, be blessed to have parents that understand the financial realm to kind of guide them through certain paths. A lot of people, they hit 18 and they see, 6 figures to $1 million out of nowhere and
Yeah.
think that they can just take care of everybody. But with that, just to be able to have a company and just to be able to kind of help people is big. The trademarking of the name, like all that stuff, a lot of people won't understand and won't think about. And if they do, in a sense, may not know exactly where to go to get it, or pay crazy amount of money to have someone else do it for them. So I respect what you're doing with that, you know, and on my behalf, you know, I appreciate you, you know, go ahead and do
Oh,
it.
thanks, man.
It's a big thing. I think it's a
That's
great
big
thing.
time. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. So with that, make sure you guys follow Amobi on all forms of social media. Go ahead and follow, you know, Phēnyx Athletica on Twitter, Instagram, and our YouTube channel. You'll be able to see this on YouTube and also find this on podcasts. We should be on Apple Podcasts here pretty soon. So until next time, we are out.
Man, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.